Exotic animals can seem as though they'd be fun and interesting pets, but a lot of times there is more to them than meets the eye. A popular reptile that many people get as a pet is a gecko.
Andrew Desjardins is the owner of Mr. Drew and his animals too. He takes in exotic animals that people either can't care for anymore or no longer want, along with rehabbing injured animals. He tells us when it comes to geckos, there's a lot of different types that require varying habitats.
Saying gecko is like saying dog, right? There's a lot of different types of dogs. So if you say you live in an apartment, you might want a teacup poodle, not a Great Dane. Cares are different for dachshunds than German shepherds.
Exactly.
And so we need to learn about the animal before we get them.
Okay.
And there's no general paintbrush that covers them all. Everyone has specific needs and cares. And so like these guys here were once thought to be extinct. They've been rediscovered.
Hello, friends.
And they are called crested geckos. They're one of the more popular geckos, and they are very easy to maintain. And if you look, one has a tail and one doesn't. They lose their tails very easily, and when they lose their tails, they don't grow back like other geckos will. Now these guys, they're soft, squishy, and sticky, kind of like a booger. And they are a New Caledonian species, so they come from the South Pacific, but they actually prefer cooler climates. So the thing is, they like it more room temperature. See, when we get lizards, we think high temps, warm temps. These guys die in high temperatures. So it's important to understand that, because there is a leopard gecko, which I will show you, that lives in more arid conditions. These guys live in a little jungle-like area, and they were thought to be extinct. They rediscovered them and started breeding programs to save them. Now they're very common.
They look like little leaves almost.
Yeah, they
cool.
are perfectly camouflaged for living in their environments and stuff, and they call them the crested gecko or eyelash gecko, because if you look at their eyes, they have these little eyelashes, or similar to an eyelash at least, not real eyelashes.
But important to know that if you get these guys, then it's not a heat lamp that you're looking for.
Right, or minimal temperatures on the heat lamp.
Oh,
so
cool. Okay,
absolutely beautiful.
That's how to care for these guys. Who else do we have?
Well, we got a couple others here. We'll put them back in.
Cute. Way cuter than a booger, I may add.
So we have 3 other geckos, all from different parts of the world. Now this one, the crested geckos are from New Caledonia in the South Pacific. These 3 species come from different parts of the world. So the care is totally different for all 3. And we got, let's see, let me just open these up. I put them down, they don't climb.
Oh my gosh.
So the most common one you're gonna see that the stores might sell are the leopard geckos. Also, people call them spotted geckos. And these guys come from Pakistan, Afghanistan, so they live in a very arid climate.
Oh my gosh.
But people also mistake this, because it's an arid climate, that it's always hot. And the truth is, in the winter months in Pakistan, for example, it can get into the 30s and 40s. So they're very tolerant of a wide range of temperatures. And these guys don't have the sticky little feet like the crested geckos do. Now, they store their fat in their tail. And they tend to come in a lot of times with missing toes, because people don't help remove the sheds off their toes sometimes, because they keep it too dry, too desert-like. In the wild, they would go underground where there would be some kind of humidity to help them. And so that tail acts as a storage for fat, for food, when times are lean.
And the color contrast between the tail and the body is just...
It is amazing.
Beautiful.
Even the texture, this is bumpy, but you feel the tail, it's more velvety. So that's a very common pet gecko that parents will get. And yeah, they're a beautiful animal, and they come in all kinds of colors now. This one is very old. This one here is from Africa. So we go from Pakistan to Africa. This one is 17 years old, and this is a fat-tailed gecko. But as he's getting older, his tail is actually getting smaller. His tail was once bigger than his head. And if you feel his back right down the middle, you can feel how that spine is right there. That's part of aging. So that is just old age, just like people do. We lose body mass and stuff like that.
He looks almost velvet.
Yeah, and his tail and head look very similar.
Yep.
So an animal, a predator might come up and he might turn around and he might wave both of them, kind of sitting there letting like which is which is which.
Yeah.
And the animal's going to be a little confused to where the head is and where the tail is. And then what he might do is he might lift up that tail and spray him a little bit or kind of distract him. So this is a very old gecko. But again, if we look at them, they look very similar. But Africa, Pakistan, different parts of the world, different environments, and different care. So it's important. And the last one looks just like the other two, but this is not a big species. This is a Chinese cave gecko.
Oh, wow.
So there we go. And again, they all look very, very similar. It's called convergent evolution. And yeah, they're a little fast.
fast.
And very colorful little gecko. But again, with geckos, they're all nocturnal by nature. So they sleep all day and they're out at night. So sometimes that's not an ideal pet either. So we have to kind of look at that perspective too. Is this going to be up when I'm up, or you know? So it's kind of like that hamster at night running on the wheel.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to think about, especially when you're thinking about taking in an exotic pet, for sure. For sure.
He's
look
a
at
runner.
him. Look at his little eyes. I don't know if you probably can't tell, but it's a little scary looking. But he's cute. He's cute. He's adorable.
Yeah, they're an amazing little animal. And we have a banded gecko here in the United States, the Southwest, that looks very similar to these as well. So they've all come in different parts of the world, but they all have the similar attributes, but yet they're all different.
Yes.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yes.
But again, when I tell people I'm a free resource, you know, if you say gecko, we'll talk about different types of geckos. And I can give you sources to local breeders of these geckos.
So earlier this year, I visited Mr. Drew's educational facility in the Lewiston Mall. It's where he's been caring for a variety of lizards, turtles, birds, frogs, spiders, fish, and other animals that are often neglected or not legal to own and name.
Since that visit, Drew announced on Facebook that his lease was not being renewed and said his last day at the Lewiston facility will be June 30th. He tells us he'll be moving to his facility on Route 26 in Poland and hopes to open by mid-August.